Hey everyone, welcome to this month's NeQter Town Hall, April 7th. Uh, we're going to be going over a few things today that I'll list out on the next slide, but hopefully everyone had a wonderful Easter weekend with your families. I know maybe a little too much information. I ate too much. It was very nice seeing everybody, and fortunately we're turning the page into spring. So this webinar is going to cover a few things we have in the past. Um, so we're just going to quickly recap the 225, the most recent update that we had. And there were a couple people that asked about, hey, I want to take a look at the compliance tool again, or those new improvements. I didn't see everything that you guys added. So I wanted to do a live relook at that piece of the platform, and because spring's in the air, we've been doing some local events. We're going to be going out to some uh, other events as well. So we wanted to let people know where you might be able to see us. So with that all said, let's get started and dive into the recap of 225. So for 225, one of the first things that we added was anyone who's using Duo MFA, we now have Duo log support. So you're able to pipe in those Duo logs. The mechanism for that is going to be an agent, like a server agent that Duo has that you run. You can run it on Linux, you can run it on Windows, and basically it's going to establish a handshake with the Duo API to your Duo cloud. Then it's going to export syslog. So simply gets added as a NeQter input, syslog, Duo shows up as an option, and we're able to visualize all of those logs, like the other syslog integrations that we have. That's the first thing, 225. With that, of course, pairing with the dashboard, we also have events and alerts for Duo that we can turn on. So, of course, one of the things you want to know is admin changes and high-risk connections, changes for the integration, as well as unsuccessful authentication with the MFA. So those are all different searches that we added that can be turned into alerts for Duo. Additionally, so this one's a big one. A lot of people asked for, and it's recently been coming up in different assessments or C3PAOs asking for this functionality. So this has been added in, and for agent down detection, this is going to live within the groups section of hosts, agents, and then of course the different group settings. So when you configure which events or that area in groups, you go to edit the group, there's going to be a fourth option. So let me actually just pull that up since I'm talking about it, because visual is always better. So if we go into hosts and we go, we hit land on this home splash page of inventory. When we go to our agents and we go to edit a group, this is where this is going to live. So before it was just Windows, Linux, and Mac. Now we have events. So this is where we configure down detection in a couple different ways. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So we're able to determine, so the first one is going to be configuring if we want to know if a system has an inventory. So that might be, less important, maybe, just user PCs. We haven't seen them in 7 days, for example. We can get an alert that says, hey, have not seen this host within 7 days. The most divisible option this can go to is 1 day. So that's the lowest of frequency that it can go to. for agent down detection for the different agents themselves, i.e., the live events metrics, Windows logs, file auditing, or the auditing agent, we can turn these on, and the time window is going to be the most minimum divisible is 10 minutes. So if we haven't seen something in 10 minutes, we're able to get an email that says, hey, this server is not sending logs past 10 minutes. So this is configurable per group, and then you input the destination. If you wish to receive an email, you can hand type it in here. So this is not going to show up under the reports alerts area because it's specific to each group, because each group you can have different settings. So because it's that granular, this is the only area that it lives. So just wanted to re-highlight this just in case, maybe it's buried or you were looking for it or you didn't see it in alerts. Well, it's because it's going to be within the groups themselves in the agents area, just like the down detection for the syslog inputs is only configurable under the syslog area. So settings, we go to inputs. We have up at the top right, this little bell icon, down detection. This is a uniform down detection for all syslog ingestions. Minimum divisible time frame is 5 minutes for these, but it's going to be a blanket setting for all of the syslog integrations. If any of them with this current configuration, we don't see logs within 5 minutes, we get an email. So again, this is not showing up in the alerts area. This is only showing up in here, configurable here. So kind of localized, and just like in the hosts groups for the different agents, it's localized there. So just wanted to redress that. So that is for the agent down detection. So moving on to the unique account tool, also something that was requested for. Again, that the use case for this is going to be right now in dashboards, right? It shows you most frequent, or 10 most users logging in, or events, or etc. This is for kind of that needle in a haystack approach of, I want to know if one time something happened, or least the user least logging in, or IP least being accessed, or just different things where we can arrange the count. We can see the count for each value. So any value that appears in a field, all the values are going to get listed out in here, and it's going to tell you how often, or rather their count, their total count within the log set. So again, on the dashboard, sometimes you have it where something is occurring a lot, skews the view. It's kind of top heavy. You want to filter that out. So this is going to specifically be in the Discover tab, and then allows you to filter down. You can do multiple ones at the same time, and then you can also turn this into a report. So you can have multiple saved searches running on a singular report. So if you said, I want to get the count of failed admins, failed regular users, or if you just want to list out different AD related events, or 365 related events, see their unique account, have those in a report. You can list those when you run that unique account report. So there's a new report type for this feature in the Discover area. This is for those users that want to get in the weeds in the Discover tool. Just gives you a little bit more power that we added in. So this will show up again top right, or of course in those scheduled reports. You can set this up, and when you click add a save search to report, you can keep adding it, like it's modular. You can just keep listing them out. And then a couple nice things, smaller things. Oh, just said my connection dropped for a second, so hopefully no one missed anything. So Eddie commented, unique count, great addition, feature request. Nice to add multiple fields for the unique count. I guess just since we're talking about it, just since we're there, adding the ability to just to pull this up, just to talk about it a little bit more, the ability to add what Eddie, like multiple fields in this search here type of thing, so you can kind of stack them. Is that what you're referring to? Because of course we can, we can run this and filter results, and then of course save this, and then load that up. So the unique count, we see it here. Oh, okay, I see. Grouped by. So sort of like when you're making a alert, and or even a report here, and then you group it. That's kind of what you're talking about. So just an additional parameter to further organize it. Okay. Yeah, because when it comes to, if we go and we click back here and we unique value report, we can add multiple. So in the so that's interesting. So in the reports we can do that, but we need to add that in terms of the um we need to add that in terms of the view on the feature itself. So yeah, that's a good call. Definitely something that should be added, because you can do it here in the unique value report, and then we can add multiple ones and list them out, and so the save search that for the unique count and then grouped by field. But you're saying to just add that grouping within here. Just trying to think, filtered by, yeah. So that's a good point. So noted. I'll add that to the list. So some additional things, just again, just to recap this 225, 365 email support. So of course, with Microsoft 365 moved away from SMTP or more simplistic authentications. So we added in Microsoft Graph API tie-in. So then you can have the email relay or sync your mail through NeQter for outgoing mail for Graph API. Setting the host name. This ties into the next feature that I'll bring up. Setting the host name. So one, you can set the host name from a DNS standpoint, so then you can access it if you have your DNS updated. That's number one. And then number two, tying into updating the password reset email, where it will now list out or allow you to click, log into NeQter and have it access your NeQter. So whatever address you've given your NeQter. So if there's no host name, then it's just going to be the static IP. If you have the host name, it's going to be the host name dot the domain that you have, and then by default it's going to put port 5000 at the end of that address. If you have the DNS where it drops that or something to that effect, we are able to change that. That's more of a support function, so you'll just have to open up a ticket, and we got to go in and change that, because most people have the port 5000, so we just left it as a default. But of course, if you've changed your, or have a reverse proxy, or change your networking, we can go in and drop that, or whatever we need to on that front. Um, and then there's just a couple enhancements on the NeQter events, specific events related to logging in and accessing and doing things in NeQter that we tagged on. One of the requests, of course, was people said, "Well, I want to log of when a support function happens." So terminal login, so different alerts can be configured for those types of things. So these have all been added as an alert profile: admin login, failed login, user login, or terminal login. And then we expanded additional event log parsing for Windows. So all of these were added as additional fields into the Windows index. So that's a rehash of 225. Um, there's a couple other things as well. Namely, the 225 agent was released. Some people had issues with Windows Server virtual machines um, after the recent Windows update. So we had an agent release for that fix. However, other than that, everything else with the agent is, or the prior agents is fine. That was more of a fix that came out, and then some other, fixes that we had, namely a couple of users utilizing OpenSense and with the pfSense log parsing had some issues. So all of that has been ironed out, and this is of course available in the NeQter changelog. So that's rehash of 225. I wanted to circle back on and review the enhancements that we made to the compliance tool. So I'll bring that up now because more and more people, of course, are using this tool or revisiting the tool as assessments are happening. Some people are using this tool, of course, through assessments. We've gotten good feedback on that, but we always want to continually improve and add. So we're going to go into this SSP right here. And the things I'm going to rehash are going to be the areas within system. So on the top left, before of course, we had the requirements area. Now we have 3 additional areas that I want to go over again. Number 1 is identification. So this is going to be the very first section of the system security plan. And here we can do a few useful things that are highly important and required for the SSP. Naming the SSP, number 1, of course, categorizing the system, giving it a unique identifier. So that's going to be helpful if you have multiple SSPs, giving them unique identifiers. Coming in here and writing out a general description and purpose of the system, kind of the preamble to the SSP. And then from there, a couple areas identifying the organization and adding in your logo. And this is now going to show up in the SSP at the top. It's going to have your logo in there. Identifying different stakeholders. So coming in here, adding each stakeholder, their name, their title, their responsibility, their address, their phone, so they can be uniquely identified. Coming in here and naming out the number of the different end users and types of users. So different types of admins or standard users, or if there's internal or external users to the system. So adding that role. So it's up to you to kind of choose your adventure of defining each of these, which role and the functions performed and the total number of users. But those can all be listed out in here and specified. Additionally, we scroll down a bit more, we have a data summary, all the different data types that we have, and just kind of a summarization of if you want to mention how it's stored, how it's protected, how it's disseminated, how it travels through the system. Again, from a summary standpoint, stating it all right here, and then adding and listing out the different types of CUI and their markings, and other details that you might want to add, like the source or any additional notes that's relevant to the CUI. That's all going to get listed out in this first part. I see someone's typing a question here. Yes, I will talk about the exporting artifacts and creating the folders and all of that. So the only thing that we're not doing is currently with the evidence is hashing. We're not hashing that folder because I guess it depends on your goal with that. Of course, if upon assessment and in your C3PAO for the everything zipped up for the assessment itself, C3PAO is going to be hashing all of that on your behalf and loading that up into EMAS. So if you're talking about it as maybe personal function of hashing, we have gotten asked that, and that feature hasn't gotten added in because if you're talking about it from a formal standpoint and formally hashing all the evidence, that's going to be performed for the official assessment and all that there. So this first part, that's what that looks like. And then I'm going to click up on the top left here, environment. This is going to be the second part. So system environment is going to be defining. So a couple things about this piece here. We have some base sections here when you open up this section on a net new SSP. There's going to be 2.1 system topology. There's going to be 2.2 system facility. There's going to be 2.3 software inventory and 2.4 hardware inventory. So we just have that, so it's not a complete blank canvas. That being said, this area is fully modular. So you can come in and add any new items that you want. Of course, it's going to add it at the bottom when you create it. However, it doesn't need to stay at the bottom. You can name this. So if you're utilizing different documentation sets or templates or your own, and you're like, I really want to show this part in the environment section of the SSP, you can add in a section. And it's going to get the same treatment as everything else. You can, add a description, blah, 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 save this section, and then we can upload and attach existing artifacts to this section. We can then, if we click on edit again, or if from the beginning, if we wanted to move it, you can move this section up and down to wherever you wish it to be located. And because it's moving up, moving down, it will correspond and update the identifying number of the section. So just kind of rehashing the sections that we already have in here. The system topology, kind of defining and breaking down the environment, your scope, your network, your boundaries, and uploading and attaching, maybe different network diagram, breakdown, stuff like that, or any supporting artifacts. You can do so. System facility is just going to be breaking down the environment, the physical environment, security, summarizations, stuff like that. And then, of course, if you want to upload a floor plan or other things like that, you can do so here. And then software and hardware inventory is going to be just that, which, of course, you can leverage the NeQter export for the inventory and what have you. So that is what this looks like. I'm going to answer the questions um, um, that have showed up in the chat. Just a folder structure that will be hash for a C3PO. Yeah, not an actor function. So I'll show you what the export looks like for the artifacts and what have you. And the next question, duplicate artifacts. So I'll talk about artifacts in a second once I review kind of the other area I wanted to mention, as well as the different kind of exports that you can expect from this area here. So the next section, this rapid entry, is going to be is going to be your best friend. I think. Before, the different controls were one by one, so you kind of get lost in this specificity of each one. You might want to zoom out and look at the controls as a collective. So that's where this area is really going to shine. So by default, it's going to list out all of the different controls, every single one. So level 2, there's 320 individual areas that we can go into on this page. By default, they're going to all be collapsed. We can expand each one individually, or we can go to the requirement at the top and expand all of the AOs underneath each requirement. This area here allows for bulk editing, multiple changes at a time. So I can come in here and I can change, say I wanted to change the owner, the implementation status, different items, and or if I wanted to come in here and change the responses that I have, I can go and change all of those items, and it's going to, before it commits them, it's going to queue them, and we can go and we can just say, I love everything I did. Let me save that right now. But if I wanted to review the change, kick open a flyout, and it's going to summarize each change for me. So then I can say, you know what, I actually don't like that change. I want to remove that one. Everything else looks good. Let me save it. Or, you know what, I don't like any of this. We're going to clear and revert. So that's number one. Because we have a side-by-side capability, when we click on, say, somebody asked about artifacts. So duplicate artifacts. If you attach an artifact to multiple sections, can we update it all if we have an update? The answer is yes to that. So when it comes to an artifact, within this area here, we can only edit the artifact and what it's attached to, or its description, or of course we can detach it or attach it to whatever controls that we want. We can also review tasks, again, side by side in the view of just the AOs underneath this requirement. Comments, info. So the info area that's summaried at the requirement level is now side by side with each AO. With the artifacts, we are able to replace an artifact in the artifacts area. So you can re-upload a new version of the artifact. It will replace it and maintain all of those relationships. So the other thing to know about this view is, I guess there's a couple things. We get a nice visual indicator on the side here, so we can see its implementation status. So green check mark means implemented, or different ones mean planned or not implemented, and what have you. We can see if it has a response or not. We can see if it needs review. We can see if it has if it's planned or has a task. We can see all of that from the side view here. Additionally, all of these things get summarized up at the top for each domain. So we can see what's implemented and not, and planned or not planned, or if we have any SPRS points out of how many do we have for that domain? There's 54 total for access control, and of those we have 22, and we have 2 tasks completed, none in progress, none to do. So it summarizes the domain at the top. As we scroll down to the next domain, we get to awareness and training. I scroll a bit, it updates to awareness and training. Scroll a bit more, updates to auditing and accountability. So that's what this area is good for. Additionally, and I'm going to mention this always, maybe until hopefully we make these a little bit more visual. At the bottom right, we have a couple things. We click on this pencil and we're able to select the multiple controls and change certain items for the controls. We can do a bulk edit function. We can also do that bulk edit function in the requirements area here. So there's filtering capabilities here, and we can select multiple requirements and modify bulk edit multiple controls in this view as well. But if I go back to the rapid entry, we click on this filter icon in the bottom right, all the way in the bottom. It's going to allow us to do a couple things. Number one, we can search the requirements themselves. So if we forget which requirements deal with certain media protections or what have you, if I just search the word media, it's going to filter down at, anything that deals with media. If I go in here and do say maybe MFA, I forget which one's MFA. Well, so actually it's not MFA, it's multi-factor. It spells it out in the control. So if I just start to type out multi, it's going to say multi-factor authentication. So I can search the requirements, but I can also search my responses. So if I wanted to search for a particular tool or item, it's going to search all of the responses for whatever text I specified in that filter. And then there's, of course, different ones here, has or does not have something, or is not a certain owner or status or domain. So that's the power of this section. For those of you that have been looking at these controls for years, this area is going to be your best friend. So just to round out a couple questions that were asked about artifacts. So if let's just go back to the main page here. So if I go to artifacts, all the artifacts are going to be listed out here. Now, one of the questions was, well, I have a new topology map. We just updated it. It's attached to like 10 controls. I don't want to go and because before, and this was the function that we had before, fortunately, you had to upload a new one, attach to all the same areas, delete the other one. No longer. We have a replace mechanism. So you come over here, you say, I wish to replace, and we can come and it's going to pull up. Let me just find something to upload here. We replace the artifact. It's going to ask, it's going to make sure. And of course, it's going to change the name. So another thing, it's going to give it the name of however it's stored on your, on your PC or wherever you're accessing it from. So you can come back in here and we can edit and change the name to, what we want it to say. If we want to make it more descriptive, you can also add a description. So that's going to be the function using the replace mechanism to copy over something that you need to replace. So additionally, this area here has a function to export a list of artifacts. So when you do that, we're going to get a CSV, and it's going to spell out for us the artifact names, their descriptions, summary of attached controls, data uploaded, modified by, etc. So we can get a list of the artifacts if we want. Additionally, if we're in a draft mode, the best way to export the artifacts in draft mode is to download here. So we select all the artifacts that we want, and we click download, and it's going to give us a compressed zip file for us to take a look at. And when we get the compressed zip file, it just is going to have the different files listed out. Now, a better method of accessing these for say there's a say it's time for come assessment, and we are like, okay, we need to have all these artifacts listed out. We need to know where specifically they are attached, and we need this to be compressed to the specific we need these to be specific to the controls that they're under. We're now going to navigate to the export area. So we're going to go to report and data. So this is where we export the SSP. And right now, by default, it's going to have us have a draft. Because we're in a draft view, we're in a live draft view. So if I click generate now, it's just going to provide me with the SSP in its current form. So this is what the new dressed up SSP looks like. Logo, summary, scoring's included, or estimation of scoring. And then, of course, we have now these two first sections, system identification and system environment. And then we have all of the controls listed underneath. So if we scroll down to the first section, system identification, summaried out, system description, all these things that we spelled out at the front. CUI data summary, CUI registry. Then we get to system environment and all those items, system topology. So it's going to reference the attached artifacts, and those are going to be listed at the bottom in an appendix. System facility, attached artifacts, again, listed in the appendix. So this is hyperlinked. If we click on this hyperlink, it's going to navigate us to the bottom appendix B artifacts. It's going to list out the artifacts and where they are attached. Now, if we wanted to get a compressed zip of all of those files with the export, that's going to be the best function of a revision. So right now, if I click on a revision, these revisions that I have, these are probably months old. So I want to reemphasize why revision control is important, because a lot of people forget this piece in the tool. It's under the manage section. We click on revisions. It's going to give us kind of a summary view and tell us what changed in each revision when we commit it. So if I wanted to, this one's from March. So if I wanted to come in here and create a new revision, it's going to offer me to select minor or major. So we're on 0.3. We're going to say this is our first major revision. We're ready. We're good to go. And we can provide a description. For lack of a better description, I'm going to put this is our first major revision. Now, I can, if I want to, go through each change, review each change, and add a description to that specific change if I have any notes or things that I want to include. And that will show up on the SSP. So I think I'm good with this. I want to create the new revision. When I create it, we're going to have version 1. I go to export, and I can also do it right here. So I can download these artifacts right here in the revisions area. If I do that, let me just click download. Download. We hit save. We go and we grab those. So what this is going to do now is this is going to organize and list out specifically the artifacts for each AO. That is how it is organized, and the sections as well, the environmental sections it's organized under. So we click into 311A, 311B, so there's a bit of redundancy here, but that's where they're all attached. So they'll all be listed out in here, and this is how it is organized in that compressed zip export. So, and the nice thing is, of course, every time I commit a revision, the version of the artifacts underneath each revision is zipped up, and stored in perpetuity, moving forward. So if I go back to revision 0.1 from September of last year, I download those artifacts. That's how they were in September of last year. When I export the revision, it's going to mention at the top when the revision was committed. So it's going to say April 7th. And it's also going to just timestamp when it was generated. So if it was, if I export, just to show you, if I export version 0.1, it's going to have the date of when it was committed, September 3rd, 2025, but was generated today at 1:40 p.m. Eastern. So that is the power of revisions. That's how the artifacts get dressed up and compressed. Just a couple other items here to mention is, of course, just customizational ability of changing the color scheme, including or excluding controls, tasks, certain controls with or without items. Of course, all of the different items from, so say I don't want the SPRS score on there, we include it by default. I can just check it off. Or if I don't want comments included, maybe the comments we've been using are for Inside Baseball. I don't want those included. I exclude them. We can also password protect the doc or add a watermark. So if I want to explicitly have it be known that this is Rev 1, I can generate with the watermark, and it will just be diagonally across in the background, letting me know that this is Rev 1. I typically recommend people to, if it's a draft, to put that, just so, again, if it gets printed out somewhere and you're not sure, it's a draft for sure. So that's everything with this piece. I went a little longer than I thought it would, but I wanted to be exhaustive in this area because I think even for people who use this tool a lot, they forget about maybe they forget about the artifacts area or forget about the revisions area. So it's just a great reminder for everybody. Last thing is, of course, this tool, like every other piece of the platform, has its own reports. So we can get a change report, a scorecard summary, or a compliance task report for all users or individual users. And then this is for on demand. We can go to the reports area and schedule reports to have it be a recurring report that we might want. So that's everything, hopefully, exhaustively with this piece. I'm going to move to well, let me just see. There's one question here. I think it's specifically to a particular client. Talking about an integration with Prevail, have the data being ingested on our side. It's not parsing. So that's a support ticket. I will look into that on your behalf, Ricardo, and get back to you. I know sometimes, unfortunately, with the Prevail hookup, sometimes it's a back and forth between our and their support in terms of getting the proper either secure syslog or having a cert, or I know just there's been multiple clients with different issues, just making sure that for lack of a better term, both sides are speaking the same language, and we're getting the right format and protocol. So I'll look into that as an item for you after this call, but I am going to hand this off to Corey to talk about recent events and what we have up.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat. You can move over to the next slide. So we recently went to the CMMC Northeast Summit. This was hosted pretty much in our backyard at Rhode Island College, Rick. This was a great event. It was nice to be local and see a lot of the local people, and also to have people travel out. There were some great speakers as well. They just did an awesome job of curating just some really captivating panels and speakers. So it was great to have our team go and see those, and also just meet with some familiar faces. We also partnered with Prevail to host an after party at Los Andes Restaurant. So if you were there, we really appreciate you guys coming. We're hoping to do more things like that at some local events, and maybe even some events elsewhere in the future. And of course, we had our Nespresso machine. If you guys follow our LinkedIn, you saw that. I personally think we did it first, but you could say that maybe we copied the Italian national baseball team with having the the Nespresso machine, our bullpen. But obviously, if you come to an event, you'll have a lot of coffee on hand. You never know what the trade show coffee is like, so we like to have something good for you guys. And then in terms of coming up, so next week, Pat, if you want to move to the next slide. Next week we'll be at CS5. We're going to be flying out on Wednesday, and the show will be on the 16th and 17th. We'll be going to San Diego. If you guys are there, you're more than welcome to come over. Like I said before, we'll have an espresso machine, so just grab a coffee. And yeah, we're just looking forward to seeing some familiar faces, hopefully meeting some new people. And yeah, we'll be at booth number 35. And the next month, obviously, for every easy expo, there's two abroad. We'll be going to Detroit. We'll be booth number 9016 at the Michigan Defense Expo. This is also going to be a joint expo with Exponential. So the Michigan Defense Expo and Exponential are both combining into one very, very large event at the Huntington Place in Detroit, Michigan. That will be May 12th through 14th. So it'll be a 3-day event. So if any of you guys will be there, obviously come over. We're excited to see you.
Yeah, and just worth mentioning, I think the previous event, me and Corey, Pat and Corey from the team, and then this event might see all three of us, Pat, Corey, and Levi. We're still working out the details, figuring out the team that's going to go, but you'll be seeing us at a minimum.
And then just a couple company updates. If any of you have visited the website or just seen some things that have been sent out, you may have seen these two names, NeQter Core and NeQter Comply. As Patrick showed before, just the compliance tool, we're now calling it NeQter Comply. And we're also selling that as a standalone software. So just to prevent any confusion, we actually changed the compliance engine to now just be called NeQter Core, and it is still the all-in-one platform. Nothing is changing about it. We just made that that adjustment just to prevent any confusion. NeQter Core is our main large offering, and the NeQter Comply, which is still in NeQter Core, will be sold separately if that's what someone would want. And then one of the last things on my end, we want to hear from you guys. We want to tell your story. So if any of you have passed an assessment, or if you're working towards passing assessment and feel that you are confident in what your result is going to be, and if NeQter has played a large part in that, we would love to talk to you. We'd love to tell your story. We've talked to a couple people already. It's been really awesome conversations, hearing how people have liked the tool, like the support, what onboarding was like, and just how NeQter has made their life easier. So if any of you are interested in taking part in a case study, I'm going to put my email in the chat. Just send me an email letting me know you're interested, and we can get this thing kicked off. And one other thing, I just want to send in our LinkedIn. If any of you guys are on LinkedIn, we'd love for you to follow us. You can see all of our company updates, where we're going. So let's put that in the chat. It'll be show up right above the stage. I believe it did. There we go. Showed up as a notification. So yeah, follow our LinkedIn. Just stay up to date. And then give people a second to follow that. And then I'll also put in our YouTube channel so you can watch any recordings we have, any demos on there as well. There you go.
Yeah, and there's just a question in the chat. Just to rehash, Steve, it's really just a rebrand, for lack of a better term. So we've been refreshed. Corey's been doing such a great job making us more modern, and redoing the website, and we're redoing all of our trade show materials and handouts, and different descriptions. So we thought it was a good opportunity to assert the, the NeQter, because before we'd kind of been using the term, compliance engine. But we do, of course, have other most of our clients, I'll say 95% or 90% of whom are in the defense space, doing CMMC. But we've been working with schools or nonprofits or other commercial companies. So we wanted to just rebrand to more of a, NeQter Core, which includes everything as before. And then now we have a small number of different companies and partners who want to use the policy tool on its own. And because of the features that we've added and the feedback that we've gotten, we're a little bit more confident in letting it, walk and have its own two legs. So we're naming that NeQter Comply for people who just want that piece, and then NeQter Core for what we've always known as NeQter for the past 10 years. So that's really what it is. Just a rename. We're not going to get into the throes of Microsoft's renaming of things, right? Where they rename something every year. We're not counting on doing that. It's really just allowing us to differentiate our handouts or our marketing, so people know what we're talking about. And then Corey, I think you had maybe a poll. I don't know if you wanted to push that or talk to it.
Sorry, I was on mute. I'm just gonna send out a poll for you guys to take part in. It's just gonna show up on your screen. You can just let us know how we can improve these monthly town halls. We want to keep you guys engaged and keep you guys interested. So just going forward, if there's anything you're interested in, I did put 3 examples on there. You can just click what you'd most be interested in. If there's anything else that's not there, just put it in the chat, and we'll definitely look forward to incorporating those in the future.
Yeah, one of the things we were thinking about is because we partner with a lot, and of course a lot of our partners show up on here, but having at a minimum some C3PAOs or consultants in the know, just talking about really the state of affairs right now, or maybe dispelling common myths, or what because the issue is, unfortunately, with CMMC, things have been stagnant for so long. So you pop your head up, 6 months, nothing's changed, and blah blah blah. The past 9 months, though, or so, the information has gotten much faster, more stuff coming out. So, like, for example, common myth was that people were hearing the end of last year. Oh man, C3PO bottlenecks, people unavailable. I need to rush, rush, rush. People are booking 9 months out, etc. Well, for some C3POs, sure, that might be the case. For others, that's not the case. You can, if you were, I'm ready, I want an assessment, you can potentially book something for July or September. So things that were true in November aren't necessarily true now. So we definitely want to Corey, I'm getting a bit of feedback from you. But we definitely want to see, okay, you know what, we need to pull in our friends from the C3PO here, and give them some, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and say, hey, what are you seeing out there, what's good to know, stuff like that. So we're taking a bit more of an opportunity to do that with these town halls. Or of course, if there's lots of demand, having a separate um having a separate webinar entirely, just to focus in on that. So we definitely want to be as useful as possible. Of course, I get people calling me and asking me questions. Not gonna name them out here, but gonna the question this past week, someone asking me about, hey, what's up with Mr. F3, and CMMC, and ultimately the answer was the class deviation memo that came out last year, right? So just stuff like that, because everyone's been working on this for a long time, and it's easy to get lost in the noise. So we just want to be as helpful as possible. And Corey, our good friend Steve's asking for your email address if you want to. Oh, you did put that in here. Steve, scroll up. Um, Corey put
Oh, you know what?
his email in the
That's the
chat.
wrong
Or
one. I did
oh, what?
Gmail and not NeQter Labs.
Oh, wow. You know what? You, you know what, Corey? You know, you think you know a guy. Let's we're gonna delete
I'm
that
a
one.
creature of habit.
I know. Jeez, that's crazy. We're talking about look at that. You know how many people copy that and can scam you now? That's outrageous. We're supposed to be a cyber first company, Corey. Ridiculous. So, all right, that is the NeQter email, Steve. There you go. Thanks for catching that. So, got a couple minutes. I didn't think we'd fill a full hour, but here we are. Look at me yammering on. I'm filling up a full hour. So appreciate everyone's time. Is there any last questions or things we could answer today? Or I will get that ticket answered for person who asked, and appreciate everyone. I think there's a couple of people on this call that have done um, a case study for us, so appreciate that. But anyone else that would like to talk to us, because I mean, we work with hundreds of clients, and we've already had about at least 10 go through an assessment. So, and sometimes they're just so casual about it. Oh, that old thing. Oh, we got that assessment 6 months ago. We passed with flying colors. So always good to hear from everybody. Ricardo. So two things. One, as soon as this recording ends, well, actually, so the best way for this recording is actually we take it and we put it up on our YouTube channel. So they all get recorded, they all get put up on our YouTube. You can rewatch them as much as you want. And if you go down to the links area, Corey posted our YouTube channel, so that is the best place for that. And yeah, I appreciate everyone's time. I know everyone's starting to drop off. But yeah, in conclusion, thank you, everyone. Hopefully, this was useful and helpful for everybody. We look forward to seeing some of you in the next couple weeks, and then hopefully some more in Michigan. And otherwise, we will talk to you the first week of May. So thanks, everybody. Logging
Thanks,
off.
everyone.